You are very welcome back to the show. Now the clocks have gone forward, so hopefully, fingers crossed, spring will finally spring. Or has it sprung?
It's been a long winter, Dahi, hasn't it?
Yeah. Peter Dowdall, great to have you with us again.
Thank you.
Today we're going to focus on growing our own vegetables and fruits and stuff like that as well.
Well, you know, Dahi, it's a kind of art that has been long forgotten in many ways. A lot of people, you know, a lot of children, dare I say, they think that vegetables come wrapped in plastic on the supermarket shelf. And it's something I'd love to see kids getting back into. It's the simplest thing in the world, growing your own food. Like all parts of gardening, it's very simple. It's not rocket science.
I know lots of schools would have something like this outside as well, but it's so important to have it at home as well, because you don't want to associate something like this with education in one sense, because we should be doing this naturally at home.
You couldn't have put it better. Yes, this is something that should be second nature to all of us. If you just have a little apartment in a city centre, you could have this. And I'm going to show you how you can grow a fair bit of food in this. I'm not going to say enough food for the year, but you can grow a fair bit of food in this.
Yeah, perfect. You know? And I suppose one of the advantages of having something like this is you're not down on your knees, you're not doing all the hard work down there. You brought it up a small bit.
Well, if you look at the demographic of a lot of us gardeners, we're not in our teens. So not having to bend over is great. Using a raised bed is great. Now, they can be made from anything, plastic, timber, whatever you want. Very, very important, though, that you use a plastic that is food grade, so that the toxins aren't leaching into it.
It's food grade?
Yes.
Okay,
and the same with timber. Like, you don't use old railway sleepers, don't use old scaffolding board, because the toxins from them, creosote,
very
will get back in there. So make sure you're using something correct. But after that, you can use lots of materials: concrete, timber, plastic.
Anything at all.
Yeah.
And what type of soil is this, Peter?
Well, the other benefit of creating a raised bed or an artificial bed like this is you can totally control the growing media. It's your own soil. So this, because I'm growing food, I've used an organic compost mix in here.
So this isn't ordinary topsoil or anything?
No, this is an organic compost, shop bought. That I'm going to use.
The whole thing, there's no mix there, this is just the stuff you
could put in some topsoil if you wanted. You absolutely could, because that'll increase
Would that make
the
a
bulk.
difference?
It'll improve the bulk, depending on the nutrient content it might. It'll also stops it from drying out that much.
Because there seems to be, it's kind of bits of air inside there as well.
There is a bit of air in there, there is. And there's a bit of peat in here, but it's not a pure peat compost by any manner of means. Okay?
So at this time of year, Peter, what should we be growing?
Well, what you should have in, and I'm no doubt you have them in, is your seed potatoes. They should be in by now, right?
I'd love to tell you I do, Peter, but I don't. But after seeing this now...
Well, it's so straightforward. Now, what I'm going to do first is, again, I'm using the word organic because it's food. I want to use an organic fertiliser. I'm just going to put a small bit of that first into the drill.
Before anything goes in there?
For the potatoes.
How deep should it be, Peter?
Well, for the potatoes there, you'll see I've gone down about 6 or 7 inches. I don't know if the cameras will pick it up. But you know you'd see it on the field, the way you'd have the drills there.
You don't have to get a ruler now or anything?
No, I'm not that kind of gardener.
In and around, okay.
So I've been chitting these, which just means I've been shooting.
Now, can I just see this here now?
Of course.
So, okay, you're going to sow this.
Yes.
How many spuds are you going to get out of this?
That will lead to one plant.
One plant?
Right? On one plant.
Okay.
You'd hope to certainly get 8 or 9, maybe 10 or 11 potatoes out of it.
And is that out of these little things you see here?
What will happen is this is your root system below, right? So this will grow up. And
so this is the root, really?
Yes, the tuber would be the bottom of the roots, if you like, or the base of the roots. So the stem will come up. I'm going to keep earthing it up. I'll explain what that means in a second. And then by the time it's finished growing, so by the time the potato plant flowers, I know then it's time to harvest it. And that's when all my roots will have potatoes.
Can I ask you a very stupid question? Can any spud turn into one of these?
Yes, but you're better off buying certified seed potatoes because they're certified virus-free, disease-free, all that.
Perfect. So that's going to go in there.
So that's Dahi's one, right?
That's Dahi's
done. Then 6 or 8 inches away, we'll do another one.
Perfect.
And we'll do another one. And I would probably do a second row here, so I'd have 6 or 8 potatoes, right? You could do the whole thing in potatoes if you want.
If you wanted to.
But just for the point of view of showing what we can do, I'm not going to do that. Now, be very careful of that tuber. I'm just, as I say, earthing up around it.
Do you want a small bit sticking out?
I just want the tip of it.
Just the tip, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is that's going to grow a bit more, and I'm going to earth up around it, and then the roots are coming out sideways.
Okay, so as that grows up, because you'd often see, I suppose, if you had ridge spuds, you would set your spuds like this, and a few weeks later you come back and you kind of go back over it again. That's what you're doing.
Yes, and then the roots are coming out the side, and that's where your potatoes will be.
How long then will you do that? In a few months' time or 2 months' time?
No, I'd do it probably next week.
Next week?
Next week. You will see that at this time of year now, you will see it coming up quite quickly. So I'm going to earth up that next week, every week, I would say, during the growing season.
Okay, they're the spuds, Peter.
Potatoes,
we'll head over to the other side here.
Yes. So also then you can be sowing seeds. A lot of seeds you can sow directly outdoors now. Some seeds, like your carrots and your courgettes, will need to be direct sown indoors for the moment. It's too cold outside for me to put them outside.
Is it not too cold for the potatoes?
Not at all. Not at all.
Even a few weeks ago with the heavy kind of winter weather we had.
Well, that was kind of exceptional. Now, if we had them out before, then yes, they might have had a bit of frost damage. But if they were buried deep enough, then they wouldn't have had.
Okay, perfect.
And being honest with you, well, depending on what part of the country you were, it'll probably have been superficial damage, so they'll probably go through it.
Okay,
but there's no promises on that this year, unfortunately.
Just to sow the seeds here, what are we here?
I'm going to sow radishes. The reason being, number one, I like my salads. I may not look like it, but I like my salads. And something like radish or lettuce will take about 8 weeks from
the
the seed to me eating it on the plate.
Oh, that's very fast.
Maximum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and do you know, so you set the seed here, they won't regrow during the summer, right? Because in lettuce they do they?
Lettuce they can, yes. Yeah. Lettuce they can. With the radishes, no. When you put it out of the ground, that's it.
It's done.
But what I want to do is just, again, you can see I'm not a fussy gardener, just make a little ridge in the soil, about half an inch. And I just scatter the seed in there. Now, I'll have far too much radishes, of course. Yeah. I'll be very popular in the parish, giving out all my free veg. Yeah, the radish man. Yeah, I've been called worse, Dahi.
You just need a nice sauce to go on top now, because I find them kind of bland.
Well, they chop through the salad. They can be nice. Yeah.
So that's easy peasy, and that's all you do, Peter.
Just tap the soil back on, a bit of water.
And you leave them there?
Yeah.
And with something like this then, Peter, say, will you have to water it often? Depending on the weather?
Depending on the weather. If it's outside, nature will be taking care of it many days. If it's not, you'll get something like this which has a built-in water reservoir, so it'll retain the water. Okay. Other ones that don't, you would want to be paying attention to the watering, all right.
But we've only time for one more. Can we maybe set some strawberries, Peter?
You could certainly set strawberries.
These are really, really nice to have at home.
And it's a great way to do it, because strawberries can come out over the side, so the fruit, when they do come, will be lovely and clean.
Okay.
And
so it's as simple as that?
Oh, absolutely. Take it out. You can grow herbs. You can divide, so I could have herbs in the middle. I might just throw, I know you're probably out of time, I'll just throw one lavender in.
Yeah, I have lovely lavender down the back of the garden, Peter, and it's really, really nice.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Beautiful, and lovely smell all around there as well.
Yeah, and it'll draw in the pollinators for me. It'll draw in the bees, the butterflies, everything, which is what I want.
Yeah, Peter, I set a plum tree maybe about a month ago. And I did what I was told to do, kind of going down a certain depth and stuff. So
unlike you.
I know, yeah. But then we had the big frost and with a lot of snow. Do you think that would have damaged the plum tree?
It's a difficult, I'll be honest, it's a difficult enough one to answer, Dahi, because we're not used to those extremes in temperatures here, and with the high winds. Yeah. And I mean, you're on the west coast, so you really got battering. It will probably be fine, but because we're not that used to it, it's going to be a question of wait and see. Okay. I'd say you'll be okay.
And just very quickly, again, I know there's a lovely apple tree here as well. There are nice flowers coming out there. My apple trees haven't got these yet. Is that okay? That's fine. I would say that's just, they've been grown where I am in Cork, so they're probably just a week or two ahead. We're a lot more advanced in Cork, you see. Thank you very much for that, Peter. And on that note, I shall leave you. Hopefully all will go well and the weather will turn. Please God, spring is on the way.